This is the first ever Black Hollywood Live AFTERBUZZ TV joint crossover. We are here to discuss Donald Glover's Atlanta, which, oh God, it was so good. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome to Atlanta, where the players play, and we ride on the things like every day. Big beats hit streets, see gangsters roaming, and
We're taking
parties
it all the way
don't
back.
stop till 8 in
Old
the
school. It
morning.
feels old school.
It does feel old school.
It feels
Maybe
too
in
old
junior
school.
high.
I'm gonna need you not to do that again. Like, I'm gonna need that not to happen again.
Be me,
I
right?
appreciate
like
it. I
it.
appreciate
appreciate
it.
it.
I can't have that happen.
Dude, I'm just being me. Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to the after show. This week we're gonna do with both panels for AFTERBUZZ and Black Hollywood Live. But next week you'll be able to check out two separate panels, one on AFTERBUZZ TV first, followed by one on Black Hollywood Live, and we talk about a lot of different subjects, trying to get full coverage of the show because it's deep. There's a lot happening in it. But before we go any further, I'm Joelle Monique. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Joelle Monique, and this is my lovely panel.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm DeAnjilo. Kind of unique spelling. My mom was creative. DeAnjilo TV. Follow me on Twitter.
What up, guys? Jeff Graham here. You can find me on Twitter at Jeffrey C. Graham and Instagram at Jeffrey Crane Graham.
I think, therefore, I am Tehran. Find me at I am Tehran. If you don't know how to spell Tehran, just watch CNN. It's like the capital of Iran.
And hey everybody, it's your girl Rhelin T, and you can find me here at RHELINTARYN. That's Rhelin Taylor, if you can put that together.
She said that so much better than mine.
But you got the self promo.
She's
I like
ready
that
for it.
hat. I need to buy me a hat with my name
I
on it.
know.
Especially with that spelling.
Yeah, the creative one. Yeah.
Oh man, well I'm so excited because we have a kick-ass panel here today.
Yeah.
We were all watching in the trailer out back, and oh my gosh, the show's so much more. I wrote today on Twitter that I wasn't quite sure what to expect from this show, and Donald Glover delivered it. It's much more than I thought it would be. What is your guys' initial reaction to what we saw today for the first two episodes?
I had no idea what to expect, just like you. So it exceeded my expectations and then some. So even as I'm watching it and raising my expectations, honestly, I'm not like a super fan of any show. I became much of a super fan of the show. Like, I really want to know what's going on next. It's very good. It's gritty. I hate using this term. It's a gritty comedy. No, Mom, I'm sorry.
Yeah, with Donald Glover, you don't really know what to expect because I feel like there are so many dimensions to who he is, you know, as a comedian and as a rapper. And I'm a huge fan. Like, I loved him in Community, love 30 Rock, but like I love Childish Gambino too. And it was awesome. Like, I really feel like it's cool because it's clearly not playing by any rules. With TV, it's so easy to, more and more what's great is TV's being put less and less in a box. And I think there was a lot of subtlety to the first two episodes that I really appreciated. So I'm excited.
A lot of layering, absolutely.
A lot of layers. I'm really excited to get into it. I interrupted you, D'Angelo.
No worries. I think the promo was kind of genius. We were talking about it, but like the fact that it was kind of all the promo was just like, hey, come look at my TV show. We weren't really sure what it was about. You had to do your own research to like kind of figure it out if you wanted to. But it was kind of nice to like kind of just go in and be like, okay, let's see what he's about. I don't know if people have seen any of his documentary work or anything like that, but like he can be weird. So like you saw some aspects of that, and then like, but also just it's a great show. So far.
I've seen his stand-up, so I was like, wait a second. Oh no, what am I gonna get into? But no, it exceeded my expectations like completely. So I'm a super fan now.
I feel like it should have been on HBO a little.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
honestly, it wasn't an FX show or what I expected or grew to expect what would be on just normal cable. It was definitely the depth, the character development, and use of the language. I was not prepared for the profanity.
Yes.
Like, we have to talk about that because the gratuitous use of the word nigga just caught me off guard. And at one point, I realized that I liked it because it was uncomfortable, because it put in perspective how much I use it myself or my friends use it. You know, Jeff, hopefully your friends aren't using it every day the same way.
Oh, no, he didn't. No, he didn't.
No.
But it's true. But I can only imagine how you sitting down would perceive.
Oh, yeah, and I'm really glad they explored we're going to get into it, but like, there was the cultural dynamics of Atlanta, not only within the insular communities, but the larger communities as a whole too, I can tell the show is going to be much more than just a show about rappers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be that, which is going to be awesome, but...
Well, okay, what I find really interesting is we all kind of seem to experience Donald Glover from different perspectives. Like, I know him a lot from his freestyle career, and I'm not even, like, I like because of the internet, but seeing him freestyle, and when we talk about him getting weird, he's got this great, like, sometimes he'll be rapping, he'll just stop and start talking about a thought that has come to him, and it's still poetic, but it's not rapping, and I felt like we get a lot of that in the show, like his different styles from his stand-up to his rapping to his writing. So I'm excited to see where it goes, and we can talk about some weird stuff in just the opening.
Yeah.
Ooh, strange, very affecting opening. How did it hit you guys?
Yeah, affecting is a good word.
Yeah.
Fearless.
Well,
Shocked.
that's
Yeah.
how it should be though. Like
Yeah.
you have a very short window to get people's attention. You know what I mean? And like if like the first couple episodes have to like make you care about the characters but like those first 30 seconds, if I don't care, I'm changing the channel. Like
That first 30 seconds.
and they
I
got
heard
us.
gunshot.
Right.
I said, wait, what?
Right.
Gunshot?
I mean, it was popping. Like I'm glad you guys you played it back for me. That was important to see.
It's a strong
Yeah.
hook. Absolutely. So let's talk about Ern Marks, who's the character that Glover plays. First of all, what a great name, Ern Marks. You know, I feel like we're going to be getting a lot of plays on that, hopefully. I feel like we're kind of, we see him with Lottie, his daughter, and for lack of better words, his baby mama, Van, who...
Vanessa.
Thank you, Vanessa, who seems really dope, but also like she's not putting up with whatever his business is. What was your guys' first impression of Ern? Even just through the first full episode.
Empathy, I feel like, and relatability. Like immediately, like he has layers, like you said, like character depth, like kind of like you want to root for him, but he's making some bad decisions. Which kind of I feel like as a person watching, you can relate to him.
I don't know if he's making bad decisions. I actually disagree with that. I don't think he's making bad decisions. He's making real decisions.
Yeah.
And if you look, in fact, the only decision that is left unknown is the whole Princeton thing, which we want to find out what happened at Princeton. Like that's actually a defining question throughout the show itself. Like what happened at Princeton? I want to know. But as a person, when you say relatable, it's not like he's making a bad decision. He was at a place at the wrong time, sure, but we don't even know the exact details of that situation either. It's to be determined, right? So he's just making decisions as a person does, and that's something that maybe I haven't seen on a TV show in a long time. And I know Atlanta's going to get comparisons to Empire because that's what it's going with, right? Like it's a show about rappers, and so there's got to be a comparison. But the social commentary that is on this show from his perspective is amazing. Like he's if you want to say relatable, that's great, but he's very real.
Yeah.
Like this is the new, and it's like a term that comes up a lot, is the new black. And this is a perfect example of the new black. This kid got into Princeton. That's not easy, right? But then he's kind of tiptoeing around the street life. So when we're talking about Ernest, like Ern, we also have to examine like the characters around him, not even just his family members and all that, but the city that he lives in is another character. Like that's actually his nemesis, is the city.
Let me jump in right here. Do any of you guys have a connection with Atlanta?
Not personally, no.
Personally, not.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering if like I have family that's lived there and I converse with them, but I want to front like I have a lot of experience or know the ins and outs of Atlanta. I'd be interested to hear from our viewers what if you feel this is an accurate portrayal, if you feel that it's getting like the tone of it. I think that's obviously going to be very important. Donald Glover's obviously from Atlanta, grew up there, so he knows what he's talking about. But I'm just curious how people from their area are taking it in. So if you guys are from Atlanta, know Atlanta, write us in. Tell us what you think about that.
I'll be excited to see that too. Just jumping in real quick. You think about shows like New York and LA are so heavily featured on TV, and often kind of like you said, Tehran, like made a character on the show. So it's kind of cool to see a show that's a love letter to a city that's not New York or LA, because I feel like I'm excited to learn about like what the city it really is.
Yeah, especially Atlanta's such an interesting place right now. Aside from this huge booming music scene, like they're taking over film, man. Like everybody's going down there to shoot. You've got a whole bunch of people going down there to set up studios. So there's a lot of art coming in. It's a Black cultural center hub of just entertainment and news and like professionals, and it's really exciting and new. So I'm really interested to see what they tackle in the same way that Being Mary Jane kind of tackles a lot of these issues, but again from different classes and stuff. So it'll be really interesting to see.
I would say though, like the people who are going to Atlanta looking for like stuff like Empire, like don't, because it's different. It's not I don't think it's the same vibe, and I think it's unfair to like go in with that lens. Like I just think that it's kind of, I just saw so many things, like it was some commentary on how people are treated in jail and like bringing humanity to that, and like it was just so many different layers that I feel like I don't see in a lot of other shows that's ambitious. And I'm really curious to see how they're going to keep unfolding that.
Yeah, there definitely doesn't seem to be a lot of filter on the show, which is nice. This is pretty raw.
Yeah, they dropped the F-bomb like right off the bat.
Sure
like
did.
we were like,
Sure
are you?
did.
Jeff brought it up, and it was like, yo, are you allowed to say that on TV, like
Yeah.
regular TV? And they just dropped an F-bomb. Like that was real.
It was wonderful. So let's talk about our other main character, Alfred, or Paperboy, as his rapper name is. I guess the same question that I asked about Aaron, like, how did Alfred hit you guys when you first saw him, when you first started interacting?
I felt like Alfred was my cousin. I was like, Alfred, Paperboy, like, but no, I really liked his character. I felt like we were saying as we were watching the show, that it was nice that this show wasn't just focused on Donald Glover, that we do have these other like intricate characters that we can focus on. And I feel like I kind of am excited to see how this music career is going to unfold, especially because like he's now like the hood celebrity, like everybody knows him. So I'm just like really excited to see how he's going to transform throughout the season.
Definitely, yeah. Great performance, and kind of an understated performance, I feel, from Paperboy's character. And what's cool is you can tell he is just like discovering what fame means as we also discover what fame means. Like I feel like he's kind of got this like this guarded element, but you can tell that there's kind of a doe-eyed element that like goes along with it, which is I think that owes to his performance.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I like how, I thought Donald Glover would for sure be like our stereotypical hero, and I like that he's kind of the broke-ass cousin who's like, oh, my cousin might blow up as a rapper, like, let me hit that up and see if I can't cash in on it. And he's smart enough. Well, do you guys think he's smart enough? I think he comes off as smart enough. He went to Princeton. But do you guys think he's capable? Because there's obviously a lot of things as manager that maybe his cousin Alfred doesn't think he's capable of.
He got his music playing.
He did.
And he didn't take credit for it, which I think is intelligent, but like really, I don't know, like I think he definitely is intelligent. I wouldn't put that past him at all.
Yeah.
He comes off intelligent, but I think between the two, it's a situation where it's kind of like Alfred's actually got a lot of street smarts, and I don't think that's like you said, it was understated. Like his character, I think that part's understated, and that is something I'm actually very familiar with, like that life. And when I see Alfred, the one thing that hit me is the fact that his mom died, and that's the origin of Alfred. Like his mom dying is kind of like a Batman story, which has to play into the end where we saw like the Batman mascot come
absolutely.
up. But that's the thing, his mom died, and that's the last time that Ern and Alfred interacted before what we see as the show, which is like a year or so ago, right? So I want to know how that played, because that creates what you call, Jeff, the guard. There's got to be more to it, because if they were so tight beforehand, then what happened after mom dies that changes? And that's something that hasn't played out. That's why it's like when DeAnjilo said ambitious, I saw those things as being ambitious. Like that character development is really forming.
To bounce off of that too, I'd say I have some friends that like are in the music too, and that want to be artists. And I think when it comes to pop culture, there's a connotation to like a rapper, like because of the words they're saying and stuff like that. And you see Paperboy already has like some layers to him, like the pressure of trying to meet the hard rapper label, because that's definitely a thing. Like you got old heads who always want to say, hey, you aren't I hate the singing like style now, like you like one of the last street rappers. So that's like kind of a stigma there that he has to live up to. And then also it didn't seem like he was comfortable with the gun violence thing he was kind of portraying, but like his lyrics kind of say these things, so it's kind of like a layer to when it comes to being a hip hop artist. And seeing as though Donald Glover is like one of the writers, I think that's really dope to kind of see that kind of bring a humanity to artists and rappers.
I especially was interested in the part where Alfred says he doesn't even like his song. They're sitting in the car and he actually turns it down like as it's blowing up. And I thought about like
that happens to a lot of artists.
Yeah, sure. It kind of sparked in me this idea that maybe Alfred doesn't even want to rap that much. Like you don't see him like scribbling a notebook, like a lot of stereotypical things we see in like rap music, movies or television portrayals. Like I'm always on my hustle. I gotta work super hard. I'm working 3 jobs to try to get into the studio kind of thing. But he just kind of made a song that is cousin got into the right hands and now he's blowing up. So I wonder how much of this he even wants and how much is just it was something to do.
He was blowing up before the song got played on the radio.
He
In
was
fact,
getting
that's
the
how the
YouTube
cousin.
hits
Yeah,
and
he was
stuff.
getting the hits, so he had a buzz in the street. It's just that transferred it onto main radio airplay, right? But when you were like speaking about Alfred doesn't want to rap, I don't know if that's the case. A lot of times, a lot of mainstream artists do not want to play their songs. Like Outkast, one of the reasons that they stopped touring and performing is because Andre didn't want to sing Hey Ya anymore.
Yeah.
Because he felt like that was the song he didn't even want to do in the first place, let alone like blow up off, and then he just got tired of doing the song. Now you see them touring again, and he's finally come back after a 10-year hiatus, right? So with Paperboy, it could be the same thing. This is the song where this is his pop song or his song that he did for the masses, but it's not necessarily what he wanted to talk about on a track.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see as we go further what other kind of music he's creating and I guess what he thinks of himself as a performer and what this genre means to him.
Well, and I've got a question about that. Are we supposed to get the impression that Paperboy is like a really good rapper? Because I feel like the two songs we heard weren't necessarily like artistic, like not like in the way that Childish Gambino is.
I don't think we're supposed to think he's a good rapper.
Right.
I think we're supposed to know he's a hood rapper,
Yeah.
which is a big difference and is something that's coming out of Atlanta right now. Like this Atlanta sound is not known for its lyricism. That's
Right.
where New York used to play. That's why when the food guy who was giving him food, he says, "Oh, I still listen to Mobb Deep."
Yeah.
You know, he brings those up. That's a whole different genre of music. So he's comparing him to Mobb Deep just because of his actions, like through his actions. But I don't think we're supposed to think that mucking
Right.
is gonna be like a big, like it's just real intelligent or
Right.
creative or
It bounced
mixed.
though. I like
No,
it.
I like that.
But
I
that's
was
the
like,
thing,
I'm
that's
gonna
Atlanta
use
music.
that word. Mucking, that is
It's
like
massaging. I'm not allowed to say the rest,
No,
right?
the show did. I think
the show
rule-
did. Massaging, fucking, and that's the thing.
Right.
It's like mucking, right?
Yeah,
And
I don't know how many like use that in a sense like, hey girl, what you gonna do tonight? Like, you know, me
trying to
and
muck?
we trying to muck.
Hey, that's the South. The South, they get
I just
creative
wanna
down
muck.
there.
They do,
get
they do.
Muck
creative.
tonight.
But
They say
yeah,
some
we
wild
don't think
stuff.
he's a good rapper.
Right.
Like we know. But then again, a lot of Atlanta rappers aren't good rappers. Like we talked about, on the show, they talked about Gucci Mane, which I loved how they dropped
Yeah.
pop culture references. I expect nothing less of Donald Glover to do that. It's like, but it's not like people think Gucci Mane is the head of lyrics here. He's like, he's not in your top 5 best lyricists
Right.
list anywhere. But is he a very real rapper? And yes. If Gucci Mane raps about shooting and mugging someone, I really think he did it. Like
Yeah.
I believe him.
Well-
And now I believe Paperboy.
Could I offer up a question, like to
Get it.
everybody? Actually, I would love to hear. I have an interesting answer to the question too. But like, who's the character that you guys are most intrigued about, or that you enjoy so much, enjoy the most so far? Like, if you have.
I guess I want to see more of Vanessa because
Agreed.
I'm interested
Okay.
in her story because like that girl is just able to wake up in bed and be like, look, that's cute and everything, but I have a date tonight,
Yeah.
so you gotta watch our baby. She seems sharp and kind of funny, so I'm excited to see more of her.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to. The friend. What?
Darius.
That's me.
I
Me too.
Darius,
Me
because he's
too.
like-
I'm like, Darius.
He's fun. He's
Darius
the
is
comic
funny.
relief.
Yeah,
and you would
he
think
is.
like Donald Glover would make himself the comic relief.
Yeah.
He's funny, but Darius is wild. Like
Yeah.
he's so.
He's wild,
Yeah.
but he's smart. He seems
lit.
like kind
He's
of
brilliant.
intelligent too.
He's
Yeah.
brilliant.
But
He-
nobody pays attention to him.
No.
And that's why I saw that dynamic of Alfred and Darius. It's actually like Pinky in the Brain.
Yes.
It's very
No.
Pinky
Yeah.
in the Brain.
We
I
right
love
here.
it.
We right here. We right here.
Even the way they look, actually.
There's a reason he keeps him around.
I think I'm interested in getting to know Ern better because I feel like of all the characters on the show, he's the one I actually know the least right now. I think we were talking about how Paperboy's performance is guarded, but I think in a way Ern's performance as as someone who exists in the city is the most guarded. And I feel like he doesn't know who he is at all.
Well, I think that he has a good idea, but he's very uncomfortable sharing that personhood with anyone else.
Yeah.
Like, he can't talk to his parents in a real way. He kind of cut himself off from his cousin. It seems like they used to be close. And even he can't even tell his girl he likes her. Like,
Right.
He's like, I love
Yeah,
you.
but that's
He's
a
like,
lot
"I
of
always
guys.
text."
That's a lot of guys. Let's not just throw that on Ern. That's every guy out right now. Like, even guys married 20 years is like, yeah, like, you love me, right? I'm here.
you.
I'm still here. Yeah.
Really quickly, I think there was one scene in each episode that's kind of going to be talked about a lot tomorrow. And in the second episode, when we have the transgender character and this guy who just kind of, this whole prison scene, we can kind of break it down from everything. So after Alfred gets out, Ern's got to stay in. He's not in the system yet. Nobody's really in a hurry to get him into the system. He's going to be waiting around all day. This is textbook prison if you've ever had to sit through a jail process or wait for someone on the other side. It just takes a while to get through it.
That sounds from personal experience.
You know,
you want to share with us?
Some time.
How'd you get there?
Yeah, on the outside as I was waiting patiently for people. Time. But inside, we first have this tragic kind of awful scene where this guy who's clearly not in full capabilities of his mental functions, you know, is just dancing around, like, kind of feeling himself. He drinks water from the toilet, which, yes, is gross. But then, you know, Glover kind of sitting back and watching as everyone laughs. It's hard to be the most aware person in the room, I think. And then to see him spit on a cop, and they know he's not good. Like, he's in there every week, and then to see him get smashed across the face. And it brings up police brutality in a way that isn't, oh, my God, my baby's dead in the street, but... You know, we know this person needs help. We're laughing at him. We're going to beat him. And then no one's going to say anything. No one. This is not a story that's going to get out. It's not a story anyone's going to talk about.
Yeah.
And it happens a lot. So I was really struck by this scene. I'm really interested to hit the blog share tomorrow and hear what people have to say and how they interpreted it. But how did you guys, feel about this scene? Like, how did it hit you guys?
I just want to know, like, the intention. Well, not the intention, but, like, it was really intentional that the cop was white that he spit on. Because, like, every other cop that's, like, laughing at him at first is, like, black. So to see that, I was like, okay, he's bringing up a lot of things in that jail scene. There was, like, you know, sexuality amongst African-American people and then police brutality. So, I mean, I was just kind of like, okay, this is the moment where it's going to get deep, where we need to, like, you know, get away from just like the music scene and like what's really happening. And also homosexual communities in Atlanta is like a really big thing. So I was just kind of like struck by it all. Kind of kept happening like back to back, so it was kind of like, whoa, I had no break to really digest it all and like really think about it.
I think it was separated. I personally think it was separated well, and I'll explain. Like, when the police brutality occurred, I think that it's easy to just be like it was white on black, but let's remember it was the sergeant that's first, right? And it was black police officers that came in as well. Second of all, we heard the why is he in here every week? So I think it went broader than police brutality, and it struck a chord on the systematic injustice and the loopholes in the system where someone who has clear mental deficiencies is in jail instead of getting the help that they clearly deserve and need. And that's why this even occurred. So while we're looking at it as like, oh, police officer felt away and then just hit him, it's not that. He shouldn't have been there in the first place. And that's what the show brought up to begin with. Then we have a space. We have a space where we get to digest that, maybe not as well as we would like, because it was so brutal and so honest. It was brutally honest, right? So if you go and fast forward, then we see the clash between a person who's basically in some ways discovering their sexuality amongst other prisoners because they were interested in a transgender person and didn't, as far as we know, realize that the person was transgender the entire time.
Or and that it didn't matter to him when he was outside. Like, he just loves this woman. But in prison, it's a big deal. And now they're calling him gay, and he never considered himself gay. And it was just such a shock to his system to even be called that, I think, that he kind of, and to be gay on the inside, not a good look. So, I completely understood his meltdown, freak out. And it was... I kind of wish we had seen a little bit more of the transgendered woman's reaction, because I think that now she's in a much worse position going into prison,
What do you mean?
Because, okay, well, first, just to be a transgender woman in prison is hell. In a male prison is hell. But then to have caused this fight, to not know, like, to have a scene brought around it when, she could have just kind of hung out in the back and...
But no one was attacking her. In fact, they were just attacking him. And it's been a long time since we heard...
You don't feel like words are attacking?
I don't feel like they attacked her or her sexuality at all. In fact, they were surprised that he didn't understand what was going on.
For a transgendered person to be called a man in a room full of men is an attack. and it's painful and it's difficult.
Well, I think that's what's dope about the episode is that it didn't tell you how to feel.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It wasn't preachy. It was kind of outlining the contradiction, and then it opens conversations like this, that's the dope thing about the show, like, right? And
super complicated.
Yeah.
The show is very complicated.
Yeah.
Like, I totally agree. It didn't tell me how I should be reading these scenes.
Yeah.
And in TV especially, you're so used to kind of, and a lot of times even socially progressive TV, you're kind of told, like this is bad, this is wrong. Contradiction, I think, is a really important word here because, like, I mean, the Atlanta rap scene's full of contradictions. Sure. The most powerful people in the rap scene are some of the most dangerous, and like, I think the show is fearlessly exploring that.
And you have a lot of rappers who, claim big money. Like, even they were like, oh, you're Paperboy, you must have money. Not made it yet. He's not signed.
Right.
Like, he's not partying with Jay-Z. Like, he's not there yet. So totally. And I think the show also does a really great job of exploring microaggressions throughout. And we can jump back to episode 1 with that dude in the parking lot. Yeah. Who, I mean, I don't know about y'all. I grew up in a mostly white community, and so this interaction is not unfamiliar, and it always gets under my skin when I see it. And I was ready to punch this guy in the face.
Which dude? The radio guy? KP?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
When KP?
Wait.
Not KP.
Dave.
I mean Dave.
Yeah.
Dave.
Perfect name.
I would say though,
Dave.
I would say though, like, before we like move away from the whole Jill thing, the two things that like stood out the most was, I think, casting was like, of the extras is like really fascinating
so
me.
good.
All the men in the jail were black males, like, and I think that was like intentional. Also, the most ignorant police officer I think we saw was a black police officer when he was talking about the Gucci man.
Trying to get the picture.
Super buff,
like,
pretty
one for the Instagram, so it's like, sir.
So I really think I like that though, because like not every, when it comes to, because I agree it was a commentary about social the system, but like when it comes to police officers in general, it's not just white cops or anything like that.
Exactly.
It's a full picture thing, and again, it's just opening up the conversation. But I just wanted to put that out there.
No, go for it, absolutely.
And I couldn't really skim over the transgender aggression that you were speaking of, because when I talked about the word nigga making people uncomfortable, I haven't heard the word faggot in a long time.
Yeah.
And faggot was dropped on the show on TV, and it was clearly directed towards the gentleman that didn't understand his sexuality or what was going on. But the fact that it was dropped, it was like you had used the word fearless, and you've used a lot of words to describe this show, Joelle, like that really bring up and they culminate into the use of that word. Because it wasn't like gratuitous like the word nigga, right? The use of the word faggot was at one point, and it was directed and was very powerful.
Aggressive, yeah.
And it was exactly, it was like, it was a jab. And I don't know if it was like aggressive, but it was well placed.
Yeah.
It was a well placed, because it did remind us all, whoa, what's going on here, you know? And so that's why, but I still don't feel like they attacked the transgender woman the way you felt like she was attacked, just being in the room, like just the situational. I really think they were just like, they were attacking the gentleman that was either ignorant of his own sexuality or unaware. And that's a place in Atlanta that I do know exists.
I would say that their target was definitely the gentleman. I think that she got hit on this, like, unintentionally, but not making it any better.
Her responses were all in her facial expression.
Yeah, her facial was like,
well, I think she's already dissected.
Like, she was like, you knew.
Yeah. It seemed like she might have dissected it already. She was like, calm down. Like,
I'm sure she, I mean, if you're living in Atlanta, if this is not her first time in prison, like, I'm sure she knows what the deal is. I don't think that makes it any less hurtful long term.
No doubt.
I mean, in Atlanta, the LGBT community is very acclimated into the way everything's run. Even the music, like if you look at like someone like Young Thug, we see that bordering on teetering on both sides, right? So I just think that she was accepting of that situation, and that in Atlanta, I do know that there's a huge concept of males who do have sex with transgender females and don't consider themselves gay at all.
Sure.
They don't consider, they're like, but she's doing this to me. I'm not doing anything to her.
I mean, technically speaking, they're not gay. So, I mean, it's a spectrum, and it can go a lot of ways. I just think that, to me, it hurt. To me, I have a lot of transgender friends, so I know that being in these situations where even just if a parent uses the wrong pronoun, it's not targeted, it's not out of anger, it's not malice, but it doesn't stop the hurting. Even if you're not going to explode or be upset in that moment, it still has an effect. And while I think it was great that we explored that guy's experience, I think that she was right there. And 2 seconds on her in a moment of reflection, in a moment of understanding the scene that she's about to enter, I don't think it would have hurt anything.
But I think that goes to what Jeff said about the show not preaching.
I agree.
Like it didn't preach
Yeah.
because we didn't see her expression. So it didn't tell us how to feel. We all got like to feel it on our own, which most of the show did, because like usually shows use cues like music, right?
Right.
And all the music was like kind of ratchet music. Even Paperboy's song is ratchet. Like
Right.
you heard Rich the Kid and Yo Gotti, and you like we didn't hear music that just told us how to feel either, right? So I feel like that's why that was done. Like that
I
particular
feel it,
song.
and I like that the show is able to bring about conversations like
Yeah.
these. I think it's really important, and I hope that they're happening elsewhere.
Don't be giving Jeff
Except
the
with
credit.
Dan.
I said that.
Oh, I apologize,
So
D'Angelo.
let's go ahead and get that out the way
I'm
first.
used to Jeff always saying, like Jeff.
Viewers, I did. Okay,
Yo.
this is my first episode. This is what I did. All
D'Angelo,
right.
I apologize. D'Angelo with the J, my fault.
I think I said it.
You
guys.
said it. You said it too.
Cue the tape. Rewind the tape.
We can't deny how funny this show is. I really liked the vibe reference of they're asking a paperboy and let's do Tupac. It says no.
Great timing.
That was
So
great.
yeah, I mean, great timing, great casting, great room for conversations and reflections. Just amazing overall show. Do you guys want to do predictions for next week? Do you guys have thoughts about what might happen next week? It's it's at its own pace show.
Right.
So I don't know.
I just want to know
Yeah.
what
I
happened at
predict-
Princeton. That's
Right.
all I want
I
to
know.
know.
Yeah.
We're not gonna know
predict
to the
that
end of the
anything
season.
we think's gonna happen.
It's not
it's
gonna
not
happen.
happen. Like it's not there. Like the first thing, there are no rules with this show, and we saw that off the bat. It
What-
started with no rules.
Well,
Yeah.
each episode was 30 minutes each, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of content for 30 minutes.
Allegedly,
Yeah,
allegedly, because that
FX
wasn't
took
like,
liberties. They
felt
took some
like
liberties.
Yeah, it didn't go 30 minutes. It just went a little long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna see, and I mean, I'm really interested to see Vanessa and Ern's relationship. I think in general, I'm excited to see how the show approaches like romance, because I think probably the way like the Atlanta rap scene handles, again, it's the contradiction thing. Rap is kind of, you could argue it's fueled by misogyny a little bit, but I'm
You
excited.
could argue.
I mean, you could try to argue against,
I was
but it
at
would
the
be
Club
silly.
Porn
politically
Cristal on
correct right
girls
now.
all last night, bro.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It was just I was doing the dance to the song. It wasn't even like a thing I do.
Exactly. So I can't wait to see, you know, if we're diving into three-dimensional characters who love people, and rap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can't wait to see that contradiction as well.
Do you guys think that Donald Glover's ever gonna like rap anytime throughout this season?
At some point.
Yes.
Without
You
a doubt.
think so?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do. I would be
I
surprised.
I do
want
not.
to, but I'm like, I don't want to
Really?
get my
I
hopes
do not
up.
think he
I
does.
don't want to get my hopes up. I feel like it, but I'm like,
It would be cliche. I think
Right?
that would be something people expect too much, and he wouldn't give us that satisfaction.
Because my cliche scene is like,
Yeah.
Paperboy's trash, and then we get
Yeah,
Donald
that's what I was
Glover.
thinking. Yeah, that's what I was
I don't
thinking.
think
That
they
is
would
like-
be competitive, but I do think maybe toward the end of the season, because I know like for a lot of musicians slash rappers, like you're trying to get along in the game, you're working with producers or whatever, and then sometimes it's just like I just need to write my own stuff so I can start turning out songs. So maybe
Yeah.
we go that direction. I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, here's a
wanna
prediction.
Or a ghost
We
rapper.
will see Outkast in one of these episodes.
I will cry if
Specifically
Wow,
Big
Andre or
real.
Big Boy shows
That's
up.
Andre.
I want.
Dre.
Andre.
We know Big Boy. Both of them can act actually.
Yeah.
So I'm more so putting that on the space.
Yeah.
And
If
T.I.
y'all watch
it.
T.I. is gonna be in it.
It's
at some
that would be
point.
great. We got to see the
Yeah.
big time.
Yeah.
Atlanta
Some real
artists. We got to
rappers.
see that. Yeah.
Totally. I want to see more of Ern's parents
Yeah.
because they are real as hell. And I was like, Dad, why are you on this show? Like,
Real
just
black
the
parent.
no nonsense. Like, I
Shout
can't
out.
afford to let you in my house jokes all the time. And I was like, all right, I see this. And I'm excited because, you know, they're not the Cosbys and they're not Rainbow and I can't remember the dad's name on Blackish, who are
Oh.
super chummy. Like,
They
have
real.
no filter.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're together, and that's a big thing too.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Like they've obviously been married together for a very long time.
yeah, they were right in sync with each other.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
I did love that.
no questioning about what was happening.
And if Ern has siblings, let's see the siblings.
yes.
We don't know if he
Interesting.
is. Like I feel like there's a sister character in my opinion.
I see that.
There's a
see it.
I see
sister.
that vision.
Right on.
They'll write it in.
A sister who's doing well, by the way.
Yeah,
Just
now
doing-
she
Yeah,
didn't
I'm
drop
sure.
out of Princeton
Yeah.
for
No.
sure. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us on AfterBuzz and BHL. Next week we'll be in two separate things. I'm Joelle Monique. You can find me every week at Joelle Monique on the Twitter and things. Check me out this week. I'll be at Toronto covering the film festival for all 10 days. So hit me up. We'll be doing crazy things. This is my lovely panel.
I'm DeAnjilo. DeAnjilo TV, Twitter. Hope you guys enjoy
How do you
what I
spell
had
it?
to offer.
How do you spell it?
Yeah.
You know what?
Like
Because
the
my mom would
singer.
ask me that same question. Let everybody know how to spell it. DeAnjilo TV. That's the Twitter, and at DeAnjilo's the Instagram. Be sure to follow me.
Yeah, I'm Jeff Graham, guys. You can find me on Twitter at Jeffrey C. Graham and Instagram at Jeffrey Crane Graham. Real quick, just to explain how the show's working, I schedule our studio, so I gotta promote it. On Tuesdays, so every Tuesday we'll be covering the show 2 times. So join in twice. Obviously, with all these conversations, there's going to be tons of opinions. So at 7:30, you can catch the AfterBuzz version of our after show, and at 8 p.m., you can catch the BHL version of our after show. Why not watch both?
You should. I'm Tehran. Find me at I am Tehran on all across the board on social media, IG, Twitter, everything. And I'm at the Laugh Factory every Monday and Thursday at 10. You should come check me out.
Get your laugh on.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm Rhelin T. You can find me at Rhelin, RHELIN TARYN.
Spell it.
That's like all 140 characters right there. Like, I think we should see other people. It's not me, it's you. It's just not working out.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Thank you for joining us, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.